Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of the Era's interview series. Today, I'm joined by Jack Adler, who is the founder of Out2Win Sports. He is still a college student right now at Syracuse University, which is only 2.5 hours from where I'm originally from in upstate New York. And he's a Philly native. That's where he is right now. As you can see, the 76ers, Phillies, Eagles, and Flyers shrine in the background. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get it.
Yeah,
I'm happy to have Jack Adler. He's been involved in the NIL business, which is something we're very interested here on the Era. And Jack, how's it feel to be in the second episode of the Era interview series?
it feels like an honor. I'm ecstatic to be here and excited to talk a little bit about my story. And yeah, fly Eagles fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Look, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you. That they're that close to Super Bowl too. I'm glad to have you. This year I think will be the year. Just saying. But we'll transition on to the questions. But just saying, feeling good about Philly this year.
This is the year. It's gotta be.
First, it's got to be the year. Has to be the year. First question. What exactly is Out2Win Sports?
Yeah, so oh wow, you're coming in with the hard-hitting questions already.
Yes. Yeah. What do you guys do? A little bit of background.
So Out2Win Sports initially began as a sports marketing agency. So it all started back in August of 2021 when name, image, and likeness legislation was passed, helping athletes find brands and executing on the content behind those brand partnerships. So throughout our path within NIL and as the industry has evolved over the last over 2 years now, we have evolved with it. We've been open-minded to figuring out how to really just provide the most value in the space. So we've, to this point in time, worked with athletes, brands, collectives, agencies, athletic departments. We haven't limited ourselves, and we've been open-minded to every opportunity to get involved and, like I said, provide value in the space any way possible. At this point in time, we're still on that path to figuring out where we can provide the most value. So right now, we actually just announced, we actually haven't fully announced it yet, but I've begun telling others about a partnership that we have with the Syracuse Athletics Department this year, where we are the official athlete branding partners. So we're going to be working with athletes all across Syracuse to help them build their personal brand and leverage that into brand partnerships. So that's what's next up for us. And we're continuing just to innovate within the space and find ways to connect athletes and brands in a way that's mutually beneficial.
That is awesome. And you go into a major D1 school like Syracuse. That also gives you the opportunity to connect with a platform, a brand as big as Syracuse University. And there's so many resources for you to use there through whether it's clients, whether it's tools for research. You're in the perfect place for this. I can say about Syracuse being close to me. It's a fantastic school for that, and I'm happy that you're using that as a springboard to give Out2Win more exposure. There's nothing more real life experience oriented than working with a D1 college. So congrats on that, Jack. You know, we probably touched on it a little bit there, but expand a little bit more about how Out2Win creates its client base.
So how we create our client base, on the athlete side, we have an entirely non-exclusive network of athletes. So we consider every athlete that we come into contact with an Out2Win athlete. And what I mean by that is we're working with brands every day to help them find the athletes that best fit the campaigns that we're helping them build or they're building on their own. So hypothetically, we're working on a campaign with a brand. Let's use Oakley as an example. We're going to go out and we're going to find the athletes that are within our network that we feel will best fit the campaign with Oakley. So a lot of times there are DMs sent to athletes asking if they have interest in taking part in this campaign. Sometimes it's athletes that we already have relationships with where it's a text message or phone call away. But the way that we handle all those relationships is we have an Out2Win athlete network Google sheet internally where whenever we have a brand that we're working with, we go to this Google sheet and we have really just a profile built out for that athlete, describing, of course, what sports school name, but then also just characteristics, content style, and all different types of things that brands want to know when it comes down to what athlete they are having represent their company.
So you get to know the athlete well. That's very important when it comes to building those relationships, getting to understand who they are, what they want, what brands they match with best. You know, that's how you can deliver best on your promise when it comes to, you know, securing brands, securing deals. Forgive me, building their brands. You know, that's where it all starts, is knowing them in and out. And it looks like you guys have been able to do that masterfully, I can say, looking at your website. And another thing that I saw on the Out2Win website is that you guys discuss about curating content that's designed to hit the algorithm for athletes, so on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. How do you guys manage to do that? What's your method behind that?
Yeah, so I mean, I won't give too much away because that's our secret sauce.
True.
But no, I'm kidding. I think it's actually simpler than we make it sound. And of course, you know, you got to make the secret sauce sound a little bit, uh, a little secret. But realistically, it comes down to the attention span of Gen Z. A lot of these brands are partnering with college athletes because they're trying to reach that certain demographic, younger college kids, trying to build upon their brand awareness within Gen Z. The average attention span in Gen Z is 8 seconds. So if you're not catching their attention right off the bat, you're gonna lose them. So in the content that we create, we always include a hook. We always include certain material at the very beginning of that video that's going to garner attention from Gen Z, and hopefully further than Gen Z. But our focus really lies in how we can use this TikTok, Instagram algorithm to our advantage, knowing that if you can earn a certain amount of retention in those first few seconds of the video, it pushes out to everyone. It pushes out onto the For You page. It pushes up on the people's IG Reels. So we put a lot of focus into those first few seconds of each video, hooking the audience in, getting their retention throughout the video. And we've seen success with that because people like content. No one likes an advertisement, but people like content. So if you can integrate a brand into content as opposed to creating a commercial, let's say, and posting it on social media, the content's going to perform a lot better 10 out of 10 times.
It doesn't feel as corporate. And I think that's how I feel when I see certain commercials. Like, so I'm up in the mornings at 4:30 a.m. to go to my internship. So, you know, sadly, the only thing on TV is the local news. So my options are limited. I flick it on, and it's all those like commercialized commercials, and all of them. I just sit there at the TV like, what are you trying to do to me? But then I'll watch, like I've seen this grow in popularity. A lot of NFL and even college teams now will create content almost like docuseries, which are used to promote whatever team it is. Like the Panthers have one that's called The Blueprint, and the Jets have one called Flight 23.
Yep.
And they're used to kind of give like an introspective of what the team is doing, and people really resonate with that. You know, when it comes to hype videos, when it comes to this content like you're talking about, it captivates people.
Access.
Access, yes, people love access. It makes you feel special, like it makes you feel exclusive, and that's the kind of feeling you want to get out of people. So, no, if you can provide that kind of content, it's great.
That's the kind of access that we try to encourage athletes to give their followers, because you just said it yourself. It feels special. It feels cool. It feels exclusive. And as a college athlete, if you want to build your personal brand, you got to give that access. And no matter what level you're at, because some athletes feel like they almost don't deserve to give access because they just don't feel like people will actually care about it. But as a Division I athlete, even as a Division II, Division III, you have a fascinating lifestyle. So we're always encouraging athletes document that lifestyle, show the behind the scenes, the locker room moments, because people cling on to that. People love to follow along with that stuff, and that's where we've seen a lot of athletes build brands that are then deserving of some of the lucrative brand partnership opportunities that have come with it.
They are a business themselves, and
Yes.
businesses that provide access are the ones that do the best because people can personally connect and resonate with it. You know, if you comment on somebody's post and they don't like it or see it or like acknowledge it right back, and you're like, oh, well, what's the purpose of doing that? But if you can hear back and you can have an interaction with a fan or a follower, whomever, it's gonna go that much further into building an athlete's brand. So that's great that you guys at Out2Win Sports infuse that into your work. And lastly, our final question is, this is more related to you than it is Out2Win. So you 7 months ago delivered a TED talk, which is an all-time dream of mine. And I think it's amazing that you had the opportunity to do that. How did you secure that? Like how'd you hear about that? Did they like email you? Did you sign up? And then how'd you prepare for it?
Yeah, so I was invited by a member who was putting it together at Syracuse University to speak. It was this TEDx event, which means it was university specific. So like there's a TEDx. I'm not sure if there's a TEDx at Alabama, but I know that there are TEDx's at several universities around the country, and it's an opportunity for college students to go share their stories. Sometimes professors take part in it, other people from across the community. But yeah, I had the chance to share kind of just a story on my entrepreneurial journey. And the way that I prepared for it was really just by practicing. A lot of it came really from the heart. The people in front of me were all reading off of a script that they had written, and I actually just spoke straight from the top of the head, based on, certain talking points that I knew I wanted to hit. But I knew the message that I wanted to get across, and I knew that I would be able to just put those words out based on the message I already knew I could speak. So I put a lot of practice in, kind of just with main talking points, and I went up there with confidence. I was confident in that I was able to tell this story better than anyone else could, and because of that, I came out and fired away and did pretty well, I'd like to think, based on watching myself after the fact. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience getting able to share my story with such a large group of people, and hopefully I was able to inspire people in the crowd.
The best content always comes off the dome.
Yeah.
It really does. It always comes off the dome. If you make a script beforehand and you study it, you find yourself overthinking it. Like I did a speech back in high school, and I wanted to go off the cuff, and my principal wouldn't let me, and I was not happy about that because I wanted my best content from off the cuff. I wrote like a little essay thing out, said to submit it, and I walked up like a good boy with the essay, and I put it down on the podium, adjusted the mic, started reading off of it, and then I just started going. So I just got myself up onto that stage, and I just started going. It's the best content, most authentic content always comes off the dome, and hopefully we get TEDx here in Tuscaloosa or Birmingham here soon, because I got a couple things to say.
Yeah.
But
No.
thank you for joining me today, Jack. This is awesome. I wanted to give the people a little introspective into what you do. I think we got exactly that today, and I really appreciate you sharing your experience, your insight, your journey, your path that's so far that's still developing with the era, and I wish you much success and growth here in the future.
For sure. Thank you very much. It was great to be here.
And thank you all for watching. Have a great day.